And welcome to the center of the Alaska Sports Universe right now. It's the 2024 Irondog race, just a little less than a half an hour before the start of the race. This will be available to you on AlaskaNewsSource.com. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors that this is available to you. And racers just meeting right now, getting ready for final instructions, and we'll be starting this race, as I said, just a little more than 30 minutes away. You'll see on the backdrop the sign of or the map that indicates the United States. We have several racers from different parts of the USA, but obviously most of our racers today from Alaska. A balmy 23 degrees today, and we had some cool weather not too long ago, and then that was followed by some warmer weather right around 45 degrees. But an in-between of those two extremes seems to be what we're going to see today. And again, now we got it. Actually, now we see an update. Our official Irondog temperature now 15 degrees. Mike Vassar is the director of this big organization, and we'll go to him right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation that we go through. I don't think a lot of people understand the Irondog really well. We actually started moving stuff back in May, fuel, for example, and it just takes a lot of logistics to make this happen. Think about moving 17,000 gallons of fuel across 23 checkpoints across the state. It gets really challenging, but things are coming together nicely. We're fighting Mother Nature like we always do every year, so hopefully things turn out okay. Yeah, we're very fortunate to have a lot of support, not only from sponsors, but we have a great volunteer base across the state that without them we couldn't do it. And then obviously the racers and the riders are a key ingredient to the component as well. But the growth of the Irondog is crazy right now, and it being the 40th year this year, it's truly an Alaskan iconic event for sure. Well, there's a lot of things happening this year for sure. Being the 40th running is iconic in itself. Team 7, which is Tyler Ackelstad and Nick Olstead, they're two-time repeat winners right now. If they win again, there'll be a three-peat winner, which I think has only been done one other time. And also, along with that story, Nick Olstead, if they win and make the three-peat, then Nick will tie Scott Davis and John Feo for seven wins in Irondog collectively together. So that's kind of ironic in itself. And then the ambassador team is being led by Scott Davis this year, who's the seven-time winner, and his son. So those are kind of some cool things that are happening within itself this year. There's always a lot of teams that are running at that front. 14's a front runner, usually 5's a front runner, 10's a front runner, 6 is a front runner. So it's all who comes down to having a clean run.
So Mike Vassar, you heard him. A little tip for you: if you go to the luncheon prior to the a little earlier this week, they do the drawing, and don't try to talk to Mike Vassar. He's just all over that floor. If you try to walk with him, you'll see him moving around, and you'll be lucky to have any kind of conversation with him at all. We're going to take a break here at the Irondog and recognize some of our sponsors. We'll be back in just a minute.
2024 marks 40 years of Irondog racing, and to celebrate, the raffle is bigger than ever. Prizes include a brand new Jeep Gladiator Mojave, an enclosed trailer, a Polaris 850 Chaos Snowmachine, 4 round-trip tickets on Alaska Airlines, plus $10,000 cash. Win a mountain e-bike, climb gear, a Specialty Truck and Auto gift certificate, and Alpine Creek Lodging. Buy your tickets now. Purchase online at irondog.org or call 563-4414.
I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about growing up Alaskan makes you, well, a little different. We're an independent bunch, yet we can't get along without each other. We like unique things, and we have unique needs. That's the whole reason we created Club 49, the only travel benefits program made for Alaskans, so you can be you. Alaska Airlines Club 49.
Welcome back to Big Lake, and the Irondog is racers continue to get their final instructions, and just about I'd say just about 20 minutes away from the start of his race, and we're waiting for the excitement to begin right here. Update on the temperature, that is 15 degrees. Jordan is here from Channel 2 News, the news source, and if you want to keep track of this as it goes, you want to go to AlaskaNewsSource.com. Little breakup of the meeting right here as mushers, should I say racers getting ready to go. Let's go to an interview. Nate James with an interview right now.
Blake Elder, Team 30, racing with Cody Worley.
Okay, and where are you from?
Right here in Big Lake.
And what's your goal? What's your team's goal?
Okay, so our strategy, number 1, have fun. Number 2, finish the race. Number 3, beat everybody else.
So you're going for the win?
we're going to do as good as we can, see what happens. We got a lot of great athletes out here, a lot of respect for the other racers.
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, there's a voted best hat award, and thanks, Nate, for getting that little interview prior to the start of the race. We're here at Big Lake. It's the 2024 Irondog race, and another interview available. Let's go to Nate again.
Sir, tell us about yourself.
I'm Evan Barber. This is my 3rd year racing Irondog, and I'm 19 years old from Willow, Alaska.
Okay, and what's your goal this year? What's your big goal?
Our goal is to run a clean race, try to get up in the top 5, see what we can do.
Okay, are you going for the win this year?
Ideally, yes, that would be our goal.
Okay, ideally. We'll take it back to you, Brad.
Thanks, Nate. And, people have a similar answer. They all want to win, but there's always a lot to be said for finishing the race, and sometimes that's the best you can hope for, surviving the race, finishing the race, but everybody's going for that top spot, including people for, we got Tyler Ellisted, Nick Olstead heading for their three-peat, so that's a real possibility there. Nate has another interview.
All right, tell us about yourself, sir.
I'm Bradley Kishbaugh. I'm 25 years old from Soldotna, Alaska.
And what's your goal this year?
We're looking to go out there and push and compete and finish in the top 3. We're looking for podium.
Top 3. There you guys go. And any chance at the title?
What's that?
Any chance you're taking the title?
We're hoping to.
Okay, good luck. Good luck to you.
Well, we're here in top 3, and that's kind of in between what we've heard thus far. And I guess if you're a candidate to finish in the top 3, you're a candidate to win it all as well. We'll continue to try to chase down some interviews as a lot of the racers are available to us right now, like they wouldn't be available quite the same way in the race. Nate James has another interview.
Okay, sir, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, Mike Morgan from Nome, Team 6, riding Polaris.
Okay, are you going for the title this year?
Yep, we're going for a win or bust.
Okay, win or bust, you heard it here. All right, good luck to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, Mike Morgan heading back toward Nome, where they do the turnaround, and I guess as he gets to that halfway point, that midpoint of the race, he'll certainly be familiar with everything that's in that area. Folks, we're going to take a little break here at the 2024 Irondog brought to you by Alaska News Source. You can see it on AlaskaNewsSource.com. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
There's nothing else like it. Carving your own trail, going where no one else has gone before. Best way to get there and back, jump in a new Jeep. At Alaska's Jeep headquarters on East 5th. President's Day sale events on with new Jeeps starting at just $30,212. Gladiators $9,000 off. Come get yours at Alaska's largest Anchorage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Official dealership sponsor of Alaska's Irondog, your hometown dealer since 1963.
All right, I'm here with Tiffany. Her son, Austin Carroll, is racing today, Team 18. Tiffany, what would you expect to see out of your son this year?
My son's amazing. He's been doing this for a long time. He's got a lot of experience with this, so, I mean, he's going to take off and he's going to do great. I'm more worried about his dad. His dad's going to have a hard time keeping up with him.
What team is his dad?
18 as well. It's father-son combo, so they're together, but Austin, I think, is going to leave him behind in a nice sense.
Do you want them to stay safe or to win? What's the priority?
Stay safe, for sure. If they finish the race, I'd be ecstatic, but if they come back in one piece, regardless of when, then I'm even more happy.
Okay, and do you have anything for us? Perfect. Sounds good. Good luck to you.
Hey, so there's a talk right there. We'll have that throughout the race as well, especially during our open right here, where we'll get not only the racers, but some of those family that are here developing the racers as well.
It's one of a kind. It's the longest snow machine race in the world. It's a requirement to be mentally tough, physically tough. Diamond Gold sponsors the Irondog because it represents the best of Alaska, our resilience, our strength, our resourcefulness, our ability to master really difficult conditions. It's an awesome way for us to be a part of a world-class event that highlights all the great things about Alaska.
The trails I ride on are the same that we light up with critical connectivity.
A lot of snow there. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Inspired by our members, so that you can connect to whatever it is that drives you. We've built our network to evolve and power new solutions. Our home. We can't wait to see what you do with it.
The Irondog is the world's longest, toughest snow machine race.
2 guys per team, 2 machines. NAC sponsorship level at Irondog is huge. It's been a big deal for us for years.
Northern Air Cargo is the largest all-cargo airline in the state of Alaska. NAC supports Irondog effectively through movement of freight. The 23 communities that the Irondog races through, almost all are exclusively only accessible by air. So that's where NAC comes into play big time. Not only for the race itself, but also during the practice run.
All of our checkpoint supplies will go through NAC.
Alaska's so diverse and there's no roads going anywhere, so obviously we have to rely on people like NAC, and they've been really amazing to have on the team.
NAC has been huge for us. It's a big deal, and we really appreciate them.
We've just grown the relationship over the years and kind of like a little family now. It's really good. I can't thank them enough, really.
So next time, we're coming up on a visit from a Hall of Famer. This is Pat Riley. Nate?
Yeah, so they called me, and I was completely shocked this year when they inducted me into this Hall of Fame thing. I've been involved with the race since the beginning. I didn't run the first year, but I've run after that. We broke the trail early days. That was a lot of fun. So it's just unbelievable how this has grown and how many people are involved and how seriously they take it. I mean, the first time when we went, which I have in my pocket, we went with a compass and compass headings, and now we have GPS and tracks. In the early days, we'd go out to the villages. They were always gracious. They always welcomed us. They were always supportive of us. And it's just amazing how many people are traveling all over the state, and what this race has done to open up the trail system and transportation in the state, and how everybody, it shocked me. Last month, I'm on the ambassador team as well. We went out to Squinton and back, and it was probably in a weekday, and there was 30 people on the trail. Irondoggers, past Irondoggers, a lot of locals. But it was just amazing to me how many people are out there and how this thing has evolved into a great event, and it's just been a lot. It'll be a lot of fun. It's been 24 years since I made this trip. I'm actually looking forward to it, and I'm sure this will be the last time I do this. I hope I have enough sense to say no.
James Thomas team, Team 40. Guys, tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll start with you.
Stan James. I'm from Palmer, Alaska, lifelong Alaskan, and just glad to be here.
All right, and what is your goal for the team this year? What's the big goal?
Get to know them cleanly, and then see how we are and race back.
Okay, let's go over to you.
Daniel Thomas from Salt Lake City, father of 4 beautiful daughters. Hello.
Do your daughters want you to win or stay safe?
I think they want me to come home. That's what we're hoping for.
Okay, any chance you guys will make top 3 this year?
No.
There's always a chance. There's always a chance.
There's always a chance. Okay, back to you, Brad. Thanks, guys.
And keep an eye on those two. They're the most outspoken racers. They'll let you know what's going on. Apparently experienced in front of the camera. I want to say just a word about Hall of Famer Pat Riley. Very humble. We had to drag him in front of the camera, but a big part of this what am I saying? I'm going to say Irondog. Over the years, our thanks to Pat Riley for coming over and talking to us. Let's go to perhaps the most popular member here on Big Lake, and that's going to be Dee Dee Johnroe.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see if we actually are able to travel to South Fork, which I have only traveled once in 40 years, or end up having to use Del Zells, because to my understanding, this warm weather has affected a lot of at least the first part of the trail. So we'll have to see how that goes, and we'll have to see, being that we're in the front part here, how much powder we're actually dealing with in the early part. I'm running along with 7 other people in the ambassador class, and we're going out first, and our role is to give back to the people that have given so much to this race and also to the Iditarites. You know, I mean, there's been years and years of support in rural Alaska, and we're really celebrating their history and their culture. And so we get to go out early. We get to spend and do some safety seminars with kids. give out helmets, answer questions, and just be ready. Well, we really need people to realize that we have multi-use trails throughout the state of Alaska, and dogs and snow machines are sharing these trails, and they have for years. And so the safety concept of being aware, one or the other, is on the trail. Of course, I'm driving a machine painted with my dogs on it to kind of remind people that we wouldn't have a trail for dogs if it weren't for machines. And on the other hand, machines need to be understanding that in areas where dogs are traveling, you know, they might be around a blind corner. Need to be prepared to have a safe travel for all multi-users.
So we got about 1 minute.
So that's Dee Dee Johnrow, and kind of points out the cooperation between people from the Iditarod and people from the Irondog, and that's been a good sight to see, and it helps make both events great events. And we're joined right now by Ken Lee, and I guess you can tell us a little bit about that level of cooperation.
Hi. Basically, back when I was running for about 14 years, we would break trail first for Iditarod. They would come in, help us out, so the early parts of putting the trail in all the way to Pontilla. It's a real good working relationship. They're a bunch of good guys, so it's we've worked good together all the way up to Rainy Pass, and then we leave them because they go to Rainy Pass, we go to Ptarmigan Pass.
All right, just we're gonna honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Here is Laura. Thank you, Laura. And please remain standing with your hats off. Now for the American National Anthem, and your name is? Craig Morgan. Here you go, Craig.
Oh, Craig Morgan.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight.
You see Governor Don Levy? You see Governor Don Levy? He's right behind him. See the tall guy with the camouflage pants?
Through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
There's a feeling in your bones that starts long before the mercury drops. It's a call to the wild, an an age-old instinct to set out in pursuit of thrill, to chase the rush and make the most out of every second, to connect through every climb and every mile. To those who feel it, moments like these are out here for the taking.
Without the support and financial contribution from Tech, I don't think we would have come this far so soon.
If they didn't care, they wouldn't do these things, what they're doing.
There are other areas such as the payment in lieu of taxes, the Village Improvement Fund. Red Dog has contributed so much to the borough and the school district, and we've contributed to the youth leaders, which is the suicide prevention and anti-bullying program.
Team CC is a family-owned, locally grown powersport dealership in Wasilla and Eagle River, Alaska. We have lived our whole lives here, have a passion for exploring the great outdoors of Alaska and serving our community. We sell powersport vehicles that will get you out into Alaska's great outdoors, including Ski-Doo and Lynx snow machines, Kawasaki ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and jet skis, Sea-Doo personal watercraft, Can-Am ATVs and side-by-sides, and fat trucks. Team CC carries Marlin truck decks and half-can trailers to haul your power sports.
Team CC's service department and master technicians are ready to repair and tune your vehicle. Our parts department carries OEM and aftermarket parts, accessories, and riding gear, including Fly, Climb, and Fox shocks. Team CC is the Fox Shocks distributor in Alaska, an authorized service and warranty center. We have a dyno machine to fine-tune your shocks to all brands, dialing in the perfect ride.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at our website, teamcc.com. Team CC, Alaska grown and family owned. Become a CC rider today.
Possible was visiting with one of the volunteers the other day. He comes up from Arizona every year to be a part of the Irondog, and you just take a look and you see the ones in the orange vests especially, all Irondog volunteers that help make this possible. Ken, you got to know that this race couldn't go on like it does without those volunteers stepping forward.
And it's so awesome to see this. One thing that the viewers don't understand and a lot of people don't understand is not only does it take a lot just to put on this race at the starting line and the finish, the real race and the real volunteers start up out in the villages. They're superstars. They're out there at all times of the night to gas us, make sure we've got food, drink, any kind of assistance we need to point directions. Those guys are rock stars, all the way from 2 to 3-year-olds out there at 3 o'clock in the morning waiting for us to come through the villages. So
yeah, that's a good point. It's not just the volunteers you see at the starting line, but it's people that are waiting for them, ready to greet them as they come into each checkpoint.
Yep, and all the way to Cots where they have a major layover, and then Nome for the return and the workshop up in there. So it's really exciting. It's just every time you smell smoke out in the trail, you're coming next to a village if you're a rookie and not knowing where to go.
Well, I need to say a word about one of our starters today, and that's Todd Palin. And I would say out of all the racers, he is the one that spent the most time with, and really appreciate him, and good to see him again. I don't see him a lot. I know he's famous for something. I can't. Doesn't quite come to me, but I know for a fact that he's got daughters that were really good at basketball. I've seen him at some camps, and I guess another thing he's known for is some of the Alaska and different names of his kids, like Track and Bristol. Hard to get much better than that.
No, and also he was the first dude instead of the first with his wife was governor of Alaska. So he always liked to be called the first dude. But he's good people. He's hardcore Irondog. You don't get much tougher than him. I've seen him push through stuff that normal people would go ahead and quit when we're on the trail racing.
Well, he's also the recipient of 4 titles as they approach the starting line. This is number 49 in their bibs, but they drew number 1. That seems to be a position that a lot of them want.
Oh, yes, he's over there waving away. He's good people. You know, just getting out number 1. To give a little history between here, Squitna's going to be your first checkpoint, then Pontilla, which we call Whiskey Bravo this year. Donlin Gold is sponsoring that checkpoint. So it's very important to get
winning
up
this
through
race,
the stairs, the Happy River,
you still
and
want more,
lanes.
but I mean, winning is a big part of the race. But traveling the state,
starting positions have a better trail
seeing the
position
people that you've seen
as
for
they
the
get
last
more
many years
traffic on there.
racing, so that's a big part of the race too.
Yeah, I mean, winning. How do you define winning, right?
Puts a lot of stress on it.
Pretty amazing race to be able to compete in the world's longest snowmobile race. Crossing the finish line. I mean, that's
I saw a
goal
couple
number 1.
amateur
And, it's a real
snowmobilers
feat
on their
to be
way
able
to
to cross finish
the
line.
Big Lake area. I don't know where
Finishing
they
the
ended
race
up,
is
but
winning.
kind of heard that
Connecting with the
they're not
people,
so
the families in the
keen on
communities that
spotting
get
the hills
travel. That's
sometime. I
winning.
got to imagine that these racers are pretty good at surveying the trail and knowing what's coming up.
You've got to, the speeds that we're traveling, the winner will be traveling an estimated speed of the entire course about 65, 75 miles an hour. That's going through tight stuff, big stuff, bumps, coasts, blows. We call the blows on the river. That's when the ground moves and you can't see anything. You're going basically by gut feeling or GPS. And yeah, these guys have been practicing. Most of them have 3,000 to 4,000 miles on their machines, their practice machines, and their bodies. So they are ready for this adventure and this race.
You know, my brother was out in the cold weather. I don't want to say his name. Okay, it's Calvin. But when he came back to town, he, you know, his face had changed a little bit. He was racing along in that cool weather, and you got to be careful when you do that.
Yeah, it's very, very cold. The coldest I have experienced on the Irondog, leaving Galena, was minus 69 base temperature. We're doing 100 miles an hour down the river, which puts it at about 130 wind chill. So yeah, it'll freeze flesh at a blink of an eye. So these guys are duct taped up. You'll see a lot of the duct tape on them. That's our friend. And medical tape, the sponge, it doesn't rip your eyebrows off when you take it.
Well,
yeah, my first one was in 21, 23, and now this year.
Jump. So I don't know.
Been around a little bit.
If that's frowned upon or that's just part of gamesmanship.
Well, you know, Irondog is not done by seconds.
You know, you look for somebody that's fast, obviously, or comparable to you on speed. Obviously, a friendship.
This race is so vast. We're in such wilderness out there that you have to use your head, your training, and your machine, and you can't ride over it, or you're going to have problems. And if you have problems, that's going to cost you time.
Yeah,
we
there's
down 2 hours.
definitely a lot of nerves that come into it. I think the more time you spend around the race, the more you're able to kind of adapt those feelings and use them to your benefit, and get in and kind of use that adrenaline and focus it.
Seems like you got to be an accountant or at least have a calculator, an abacus, whatever it takes to figure out that final thing. Stan James coming up to the line along with his partner Daniel Thomas. See if we got that right. They're wearing.
And Thomas is out of state person, so this is what I'm talking about. There's some that are out of state total teams and some that are mixed with veterans or people in Alaska, so they've got some direction. But it's really cool to see the lower 48 people get involved more and more every year.
He's from Salt Lake City, and the ones that are out of state, there are people that are kind of experienced in winter weather. Salt Lake City certainly sees that. We have a couple from Minnesota as well.
Yeah, Minnesota didn't get as much snow this year, so their training's probably not as good as what our people are up here, our athletes. There they go.
Well, that looked like a good start. They were flying. Didn't take them long to accelerate.
Every track in here has studs on it. We're required to run studs and carbides for traction and safety purposes, so that when they spin on this ice, because it's cut down to ice, they hook up.
Coming to the line here, receiving their final hugs before they take off. Wearing, let's see, this is
number 6,
six
Mike Morgan
on their bids.
And Kershaw. Yeah, Kershaw's just got into racing a couple years ago with the Irondog, but Mike's won it 3 times with Chris Olds. So this is a new team. We call it the Happy Divorce Club for Irondog because we're always changing partners.
Well, ideally we'd like to draw
Mike,
first overall, but I don't know if we're going to leave first.
He knows the coast.
So if we draw up there anywhere top 10 would be nice.
They should be up there good. They
if we
got
draw
third
first,
position.
we'll probably leave
They're going to
somewhere
be up
around 5
front for a while, in my opinion.
Essentially,
Well,
there's
Soldotna and Nome, that's a pretty interesting combination.
Oh, yeah, Soldotna will be following, Nome will be leading.
That makes sense.
Oh, man, nice-looking machines. The first Polaris team's out.
And we're seeing a lot of basically two manufacturers highly represented here, and not quite as much variety as maybe we've seen in the past.
Yeah, Yamaha just 2 years ago announced that they were going to go ahead and get out of the Snowmachine making market. So they went ahead and they're now out. So they're basically going into the 4-strokes, and it wasn't what they wanted to do. Arctic Cat is still revamping some stuff. They're normally a big player. We hear words that they're going to be doing more sponsoring this next year, so they've got a new line of product coming in, so we'll see what they throw at us next year, but I don't see any Cat teams like we typically do. I mean, we'd have half the field Cat that in the past. So it's going to be a race, Polaris and Skidoo, which Skidoo now is moving up on overall wins to Polaris.
Here comes Team 9. I'm going to pull out the glasses.
It's Troy Conlon and his partner,
Evan Barber out there, right?
Yep, and that's from Team Barber Racing. Tammy and oh man, I'm trying to think of his husband. He does lots of Shane Barber. They do a lot of racing. Their kids are heavily involved, so they've got TBR, Team Barber Racing, a good family to get in the race.
Well, Evan Barber from Willow.
Really, I can't
wait
to get the race started. I don't really care for this time of year.
Some of these folks the other day.
A lot of time in the garage.
The other one generally,
get the race going.
you know, the younger ones prefer to the older ones, the experienced ones, in terms of sharing about their team, but gave us a lot of insight.
Yes. You know, and Evan just ran 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, with his dad. He got a special waiver because in Irondog you have to be 18 in order to go ahead and run as an adult. Otherwise, you have to have a special waiver to go ahead and run if you go younger, which he got that because his dad's a veteran and he's been very good on the race. So now he's getting up there with the race teams trying to find the match with a good partner to continue.
Well, this is Troy Conlon as well, and he's from Fairbanks, and he thinks this is a heat wave.
Yeah, Fairbanks, 45 below, that's when they put a coat on. You know, that's about it. But, yeah, his blood is thicker than Heinz ketchup right now, so he's enjoying the warmth. And I don't know what it's going to be like at McGrath. You know, typically we pull in there, it's 40 below, 50 below, but it might be a little warmer this year.
Well, anywhere you go from Fairbanks, it's going to be warmer.
Until you hit the Yukon, then it's dead cold. If you'll notice, they've got auxiliary lights on there. We've incorporated this the last 10 years into the systems, and they've become a big help. They're used pencil beams.
For me personally, it was a matter of having a race partner that I have a very good relationship with, that I could trust, that brought strength to the pro class team effort that I didn't have, so it was a balance. And pushing ourselves, that opportunity of
we see something
seeing if we really have what
a little different
and the level
than
of
we have so far.
you have
Two
with him,
racers from the same
I wouldn't
community,
do
both from Wasilla. I wonder if
you really have to know
like
who
the
you're going
Soldotna
in the
Fairbanks, some people that are farther apart get less of an opportunity to work together. Checking in with Nate in the interview.
No, I think it's just trying.
Go ahead,
So
Nate.
our main goals when it comes to finishing right now is to get this thing done. We want to get a clean race from the beginning to the end,
We'll try
and not break ourselves or destroy Snowmachine. So it's just to finish a clean race.
I think our main objective is to have a clean run and finish Irondog. Secondary objective is to be the top all-rookie team, and our
Okay, so throughout the race, we were able to talk to a lot of the mushers. Can I say racers? You don't mind if I do that. They also don't like to be called partners. They want to be called teammates. But throughout the races they're announced, we have a lot of them giving their previous thoughts on the race as we see number 26 take off. Well, even the rookie teams say, you know, first place is a possibility.
This season, or this entire 40 years that we've been doing it, is Nick Olstad. He's running with Tyler Ackelstead. They're a top-rated team, but he was running with Mark McKenna, who's a veteran and has won it before, and he's the only rookie that has run this race, period, up in first place. Could change this year, but it's a pretty tough thing to beat.
Well, Mark McKenna, I've been around here. He's a high-energy guy.
Good people. If Mark gets past, watch out. He's going to be passing you back. He hurt himself. That's why he's not. I don't know if he's running. He was kind of making a decision. He crashed over on the South Fork about 4 days ago.
Yeah, I saw him in the program.
You want to do the Irondog? And he said, I've been waiting for you to ask me. So I'm probably a little bit more on the mechanical
side. Yeah, I think the doctor told him to stay out. He hurt his inner thighs, more, and then up to his groin. So that's a tough loss right there. He's a top competitor, always on a day game.
A couple of Willow racers coming up. Cody Barber and Brett Lapham as they get ready to take off, if I'm reading their numbers right.
Yep, Lapham is Cody Barber's brother-in-law. He's married to Cody's sister, so there's Team Barber Racing, and they're good people. They're both fast. Lapham's done real good. Cody's had a couple of DNFs, but done good also, so it'll be a good team to watch.
Yeah, both age in their early 30s, 30 and 31, so I imagine they probably were in some same classes growing up.
Oh, yes. They've raced together on the local races, and then they train together all the time out for Irondog, so it'll be a real good team. I'm expecting top 5 with them.
So number 39 taking off right now, bringing up Colin Clayton and Tyler Gurley. Oh, jump out on the trail. The folks from South Anchorage High School giving us a look. That team's going to show up momentarily.
This is another rookie team. Tyler Gurley's been around local racing, done a lot there. He's very smart with motors, electrical, so I'd like to see them finish, but it's real tough for rookies. They have no idea. Us veterans can go ahead and explain this course to them, what to expect, where to stay, and everything, and it's hard until you actually run it.
1 minute for Team 24. These guys are tough. They are rookies.
Yeah, we're from up north, and we ride at the Red Dog Youth a few times.
The rookies you
not
mentioned,
too much people get to go up there and ride it around all the time.
They have a level of excitement that goes a little even further than the veterans.
Oh, yeah, they haven't slept all week. They've been trying to make sure they got everything going. You're trying to figure out, where do I take my races? Layovers. What's a layover? Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to get some rest. We got to figure out where we're going to go, where we're going to get good food, good lodging, quiet. So, and then they got to worry about, staying in the hunt. And all of a sudden, we veterans leave them, and where'd they go? It's part of the game, but it's fun to go ahead as a rookie once. It was very very intimidating going out there and going out and saying, which way do we go?
Well, I noticed that when they don't have their helmets on, you're going to see a lot of baseball caps, some forward, some backwards. It's a favorite headgear.
Oh, yes, and then stocking caps. that's the number one out in the once you get the checkpoints and stuff because it's cold out there.
Well, I think usually that it's cold out there goes without saying, but we like to report another degree of temperature. It's warming up now, 17 degrees.
When I have a cabin out on the Yetna, I came in this morning. It was 8 below when I woke up at 7 to come in. So it's chillier out there, but this wind is also biting. And you got to remember that when you have a base temperature of 17 and you're doing 100 miles an hour down there on the river, which is also a little colder than 17, you're looking at below zero wind chills.
Well, essentially, Ken, as you get out on the trail, is it what you're going to see dwindling temperatures?
You're going to see dwindling temperatures till you start hitting about, after Squitting, about Finger Lake. We'll be getting up into the mountains and to the passes. When we hit Whiskey Bravo, we'll be up in the pass and going over to Ptarmigan. And then once we drop down into Ptarmigan and hit the South Fork, that's where we go into Roan, and that's where the temperatures drop because we're in the interior. And they should be over in the South Fork, Roan area about 3 o'clock, roughly 2 o'clock this afternoon. They should be, the first team should be in the McGrath in the daylight, probably 6-ish, I'm thinking, if without problems, because the trail conditions are pretty good to there.
Team 30 ready to take off. This is Blake Elder and also Cody Worley sitting there ready to blast off at the starting line.
Nice wraps on these sleds. Really nice looking sleds, guys.
Just a slight wind, and that's a blessing because that can really make it even chillier, the wind factor.
You know, you don't get as much wind on the interior as you do on our side of the range, but the coast, we always have a saying on the coast when we're racing. Either you're going to get with a blow, which means a ground storm on the way up, northbound, or you'll have a blow, on the southbound, and that gets a lot of teams. It gets you disoriented and burns a lot of fuel if you're not on a good course.
I think we have the South Group now catching some of the racers going out on the trail.
There's a weed road that we actually plow, and it's spelled just the same. Like I said, I've been mingling these names for 16 years, like now. We got 1 minute.
Team 5 on the line. This is Cruz Cleween and Zach Wyatt. So
this is another Happy Divorce Club that they hooked up. They're good people. They're fast. They seem to work real good together. Zach's been up near the top. He took last year off and took a trail class out, so he's definitely a team to watch. They should do quite well. They're going to move up pretty quick. Going through this first section where it's going to be very bumpy and rough till we get over the range.
Well, looking at their bios here as we take a look there, they don't look ancient, but they're definitely veterans, and you know the experience helps.
Yes, and it's this race, like you would see motocross or snowcross, stuff like that. Young age makes big differences out there. Here, you want to be a little bit older. You're a little wiser, smarter. It's not all about speed in this race. It's about consistency, and it's a series of mini races because each checkpoint is a different time that you're going to be running now. So you may have had a bad experience on one checkpoint, and then 2 checkpoints later you make it up. So it's really age does matter in this one.
Team 14 on the line, Casey Boylan, the Palmer racer, ready to go. He's 29 years old. And then, I don't think we've seen that many from Anchorage, but Brian Leslie is his teammate. He's 30 years old, considered a veteran, wondering why Anchorage snowmobilers don't show up as much.
You know, we do, but Anchorage is not really snow machine friendly. It's out here in the valley. They just leave from their houses, you know, to go train. So it's nice to see. And a lot of more people are moving out to the valley, get more house values and stuff. So these two, they're a top 3 team always. They had a bad hap a couple years back. They were in first place, and they ran out of fuel. Didn't know that they were having machine problems, everything else. But this year, we'll see if it changes for them, but they're a definite team to watch. They both work really good chemistry together. Their machines are always in great shape. And mentally and physically, they're there.
They are definitely.
Well, I know I've seen this a few times when you're out here commuting around the valley in the wintertime. You'll see, you know, inside of the road, people racing along. You got to be careful for the racers. You don't see that in Anchorage, at least not so much.
No, you see the skiers on the ski trails and the fat bikers in Anchorage, and it's sad to say that Alaska City that you can't ride a snow machine in Anchorage. Come on, it doesn't sit real good. Out in the valley, you just like you say, you go down the road, and there goes people cruising there, and for all intents and purposes, it gets along great. It's I would like to see Anchorage change a little bit. I think I'm barking into the wind.
Well, what do they say about Anchorage? You can see Alaska from there.
Here's our number 1 team that has a chance of doing a three-peat. Nick Olstad and Tyler Ackelstead.
Team 7.
Well, we've got that on video. Let's go see what they had to say.
We've got a whole bunch of flaggers for this team.
Hopefully have a good clean race and be back here in Big Lake in a week.
I feel pretty good about the opportunity to win 3 in a row. It's not our main focus. I mean, just like Tyler said, it's a race by race.
Yeah, I don't think in this race you can't take anybody or anything for granted. Weather conditions year to year are changing. Competitors in this race are getting stronger. A lot of the younger demographic that were the rookies that were rookies 5-6 years ago are continuing now. They're now veterans, and they're learning a lot of the tricks that Nick and I have learned over the years, and they're just becoming stronger and stronger competitors.
Well, the opportunity for a three-peat. Kansas City Chiefs looking for the same thing.
This team will be up there. It's them that'll lose it. It's both riders are top. Nick is the only rookie that's ever won the Irondog his rookie year. So it's hope to see them up there. They're a good team, good people.
Yeah, a lot of people a little more conservative about their chances. You didn't sense that from them.
No, they are very confident. They've got their layovers and a game plan together. They went and pre-ran up there in Kotzebue so they can try to figure out the best angles of attack in a ground storm on the ice up there. So they'll probably be real close to being up front by the time they hit Whiskey Bravo. So they'll be the top 5 teams, in my opinion, getting up to Whiskey Bravo, which is going to be your second checkpoint.
Well, that's got to be an advantage from them, knowing the trail from over the years and even taking a look at it this year. And, when they talk strategy, I'm sure a lot of people try to listen in.
Oh, yes. It's good. We can go pre-run the race, but then you're doing 2 races. So it takes a lot of time away from your practice and you're building the machines. But these guys started building machines back in October. So the race rigs were getting dialed in, and they went up and run the course in the sections where they feel was the most key to go ahead and watch and do them. And the Kotzebue Loop and the Nome Loop is pretty important. That's where they trained.
Well, I think there's a lot of commercial fishermen out here, and the idea of cork line, that's listening in to others or using that strategy, the fishing strategy, even while they're racing.
Oh, yes. No, it's when Nick and Tyler talk, that people listen. And they give out good pointers to teammates. I mean, we all help each other. It's still a race out there in the wilderness. You're against yourself, really.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself first. You can't worry about other people.
Nope. And then here we got team number 10. This is a new team, Chris Olds, who was with Mike Morgan and Ryan Sodasani. So Chris Olds is past winner. He's won it, I believe, 4 times. So he's a very good competitor, very top-rated. He Ryan Sodasani's won it, or has run it quite a few years and taken 3rd, I think, as a top spot. But this is a good team to watch. They've got a lot of good chemistry. New team, but yet they're a veteran team.
Well, look at some of those top overall winners throughout the years. Chris Olds from Eagle River, 52 years old, but just looking at his photo right there, he looks like a young 52.
Oh, yeah, until you see the gray hair like mine.
Uh-oh. That's why the hat. So, Ryan Sadasanti, he's from Wasilla.
Yep.
He's a young guy, just 46.
Yes. Ryan's good people, high energy. Chris is kind of more mellow, taking it easy. But Ryan, you can jack him up real quick.
Ken, I hear you say good people a lot, and having been around the snow machiners the other day, I got to agree with you.
Yep. It's, we're real respective. We've been in this sport. We're all friends, but we're very big competitors against each other. So, but we'll go ahead and stop and help somebody out in a minute if we're in the trail, and that's rightly so because there's going to be nobody else to help you in between checkpoints because it's, there's nothing out there.
I like the idea of multi-sport athletes, but I got to believe with snowmobiling, you kind of have to focus.
Yes, it's very very awesome sport to be in the snow machining, especially the racing part. This race, in my opinion, is the top race that you could ever ask to go for. It's got the adventure, the wilderness, the man and the machine, nothing else, and the scenery out there and the people in the villages. I can't stress that enough. They're just awesome people. When we pull in there, we're rock stars. They don't care if you're a trail class. They don't care if you're pro class. They're there to help you get your autograph. If whatever you need, they'll help. 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. They're going 48 hours without sleep sometimes. So it's really, really awesome to see the villages. Each checkpoint is special to us.
Well, I got to agree with all you said, but I think the scenery is part of what draws people year after year, and feel a little sorry for people from the inner city that don't get to see a lot of Alaska.
No, I mean, I've seen caribou, I've seen wolves, I've seen moose, of course, everywhere, but I mean herds of caribou that we go through. You see people out on the ice that are 15 miles away from the shore, and they're out there crabbing. You're like, what are you doing out here? But it's awesome. I mean, the days, of course, there's days that you wish you weren't out there because you're in a blow, what we call a ground storm. And, you punch through it. But the days that you can see everything and it's clear and you can just, WFO, let's go.
Well, I know you talk about animal scenery along the way. Saw a couple moose after the turnoff and the big lake. And I don't know why this is. You can maybe tell this, but seems like in town you see a lot of moose signs. I've never seen a moose at a moose sign.
Yeah, I kind of wanted that too because it's not like a crossing like pedestrian side, but yeah, it's Alaska thing.
Yeah, I still get a thrill out of it, and I'll go spend 10 or 15 minutes or even longer trying to show visitors the moose. It seems like the harder I'm looking, the tougher it gets.
The tougher it gets, they just aren't there, and then all of a sudden when they leave, boom, there's 15 of them.
Yeah, Kincaid's normally steady on that, but not all the time.
You're exactly right. I try to show that to some of my family when they come up, and it's very trying. Oh.
Yeah, I had some friends a while ago that spotted a bear at Kincaid, and I'm thinking, I've been looking there a long time. Those bears usually hide out pretty well, but here was I don't even know if she stayed in town a week, and they're videoing a bear.
Bears, you have a better chance of seeing bears in Anchorage than you would out here in the actual wild.
Well, 2 minutes between racers, and this race moving along, and just people are ready to fire up.
Now, here's the Kotzebue team. This is George Lambert. His dad ran it when I was running back there, Harold. Good people, and Seth Wells out of Norvik. So they're going to have the coast dialed in when they get up there. They know every shortcut that there is. And which hometown advantages, it's nice. You know, you can make up some time. The hometown people root you on. So it'll be good to see, you know, another what we call team from the villages come out there, because they've watched us go through ever since, you know, they've been watching races.
You know, I'm seeing a lot, like you mentioned, father-son combinations, not necessarily always racing together, although some do that, but just the tradition seems to follow family members as you go along.
Yes, and you know, in all the villages, our checkpoints and stuff up north, racing has been going on in their villages or their regions since they've been kids. So they've grown up around it. Snowmachines is like cars to us in Anchorage.
Well, Team 33 ready to take off, Lambert and Wells, and they're off.
And notice how I say Snowmachine instead of snowmobile. That's a lower 48.
Yeah, well, I've heard them both, and I know one's favored, but
yes.
sometimes I forget which one.
Snowmachine, Alaska. Snowmachine.
Okay, Skylar Wells, though, loved his interview. He for a 22-year-old, he's going to be in the movies someday. You know, he's going to get in one of these Alaska reality shows.
Oh man, our reality shows bringing people up here. I want to live that way.
Yeah, too bad we don't have that many of them.
No. I do some freighting on my off time for people, and I get some off-gridders, and you won't believe how many people come up here for the first year, try to make it in the bush, and then end up going back because it wasn't what TV showed that they remembered.
My favorite Ariel Tweedo there on Ryanair.
Oh, yes, I like that one. She was a character. I like that show. That was a good one. That was more reality.
Yeah, it's nice to see her just all over Alaska, and she travels the states as well. I think she represents us well.
Yes, she does. She's a lot of energy, great people.
Well, Team 19 moves to the starting line.
They're also, I believe they're both veterans. Don't know much about them.
Well, we're seeing that we're having people from, let me see, trying to locate their areas.
They're both out of Wasilla, but
okay.
Wasilla and Sterling. But one cool thing about this is you got to get new blood into this sport, and that's what we're seeing a lot more of is the younger riders coming up. They've seen it race. They've been out practicing when we go by, and it's good to see a lot of new blood coming in because this is what carries the sport forward.
And I think some of our racers coming up shortly are some of the ones that represent different parts of the United States, and not a ton of them outside of Alaska, but
these are the ones from New Hampshire, East Coast. So it'll be interesting because they're used to riding a lot different type of terrain than we are. They're more flat, wooded, and groomed trails. We, on the other half, groomed trail is just coming to be a word here in the last 5-10 years in Alaska. But these guys are pumped and ready to go. You know, I like to see the outside teams because it's good to get those country or those states and everything. They're full of energy over here. It's good to get those states involved in here and get more.
Let's go to the quick interview with them.
For me personally, it was a matter of having a race partner that I have a very good relationship with, that I could trust, that brought strength to the pro class team effort that I didn't have, so it was a balance.
And pushing ourselves, that opportunity of seeing if we really have what it is, and the level of trust that you have with Kim particularly. I wouldn't do this otherwise. You really have to know who you're going in the woods with.
Well, Team 15, Ken, they look like they won even before they started. They kind of look like they were on the gold medal stand, and that's how excited they are for the start of this race.
You know, and I get back to this team thing. You have to have a partner that you want to race with, you get along with, you have fun with. It's a big thing with racing. It's not just a race. It's an adventure, and it's fun. If it's not fun, then you're going to have problems, you're going to bicker, you're not going to get the rest, you're not going to get the confidence. So it's really important to get a partner that you pair with and have the same riding style, thinking. You know, you react instead of thinking about it. You react to the situation, and that's what you want.
Hey, you talk about situations. One thing we visited was mechanical versus race, but let's get an interview with these two.
I think it's just trying to keep your equipment together and then be in the right shape to be able to make it through the whole race. The toughest part of the trail, I'd say, is like mentally would be the water skipping, because it's not something we would normally do in Minnesota when we're racing. So that's tough for us, just to kind of like get used to doing that.
There we learn a lot from kind of everybody, watching everybody. You know, we've only done it 2 years, or this is our second year, so we learn a little bit from everybody all the time.
Just Ken, makes me think about it's not just the fastest racer, but a little bit of a mechanical problem can really set you back.
You know, everybody in this race is going to have an issue. I don't care if it's, you know, mechanical material. It just matters how big an issue you have. The smaller issues you can work through relatively quick, but if you need like a shock, you take one out in the middle between two checkpoints, you got to figure out how to ride it to the next checkpoint and not lose as much time or not lose the machine. We've taken logs, cut them down to size of shocks.
I think it's
put them in there.
Challenging. I've done the race 3 other times, and it's
the whole United States
hard on the mind, hard on the body, and you do get to see parts of Alaska that you don't normally get to see at any other time.
That's another team from out of state also. So
we're off once again. It's not just rough for the racers.
Do we get hazard pay?
Well, bringing up the next crew, that is team number 41, and these guys, 19 and 18, their combined age is younger than a lot of single people's age, and they're here from Anchorage and Wasilla, and one of them, even at 18, is considered a veteran.
Hey, I mean, like I say, age doesn't really matter in this type of racing here, because it's knowledge and experience on riding.
I think it's to be just as good mechanically as you are a racer, and what will make you a better racer is to know your iron and know what it takes and how it feels and what it's doing throughout the course of the race. Yeah, spend more time in the garage ahead of time so you don't have to do it on the trail.
And this is a father-son team, Sindorf's. So Paul's run it quite a few times and does good. But I'd like to run it one day with my son. It's a good experience, adventure.
Well, settling in at the starting line, we're moving along here with our second half of the starters. Just 2 minutes between racers starting off, and that time really goes rapidly, and in the cooler weather, that's not a bad thing.
They'll do time adjustments in McGrath. So basically, if you left first, you're going to have 2 minutes time how many racers we have put back onto your time, and then if you left if you left last, there's no time adjustment there, because they're adjusting it to the last person or the last team that left. So they'll adjust it so you'll get true times as soon as they start posting them in McGrath. So just because someone's an hour and a half in Whiskey Bravo or Roan doesn't mean that they're going to be that far when they get to McGrath after they do a time adjustment. So he could only
Casey Boylan, Ryan Leslie, Bruce Clewine, Zach Wise,
same thing.
Tom Davis and Chris Olds have been pretty helpful for us and pretty inspirational as far as guys who look up to it. Information from kind of some of the reason why I was doing it.
Another exciting announcement.
Seeing Chris do it for so many years.
For Irondog. Temperature update, climbing to 18 right now. So
yeah, but that wind's picking up, so it's like keeping that wind chill down.
Yeah. I know not looking forward to something landing on us again, but we're moving along, and we got Team 41. I think I got a little ahead of myself.
Yeah, this is the young team. Hakan Wold. His dad was supposed to run with Mark McKenna, but Mark hurt himself, so he's not going to be running this year. But he went with his dad last year, had a hoot of a time, so now he's taking, I assume, one of his good friends. They get along young, about the same ages, but, trying to get experience and see what Irondog is now on their own.
Tyler Reese, is that his partner? It looks like it
yes,
is.
Yes, Tyler Reese.
Now, just to me, Tyler Reese looked like he was dragged off the ice rink. He just looks like a hockey player. Perhaps he was in Miracle. That's who he might represent, at least from a glance. And he's a rookie from Anchorage.
Yep, and he's been in some racing, so he's got some experience. But good luck to him. And I think, let's see, 30.
Well, I see Mike Vassar walking in front of us. Really the only time I've seen him stand still
Mike,
since Wednesday.
He might get some sleep tonight. He's been up for about a week now with pretty nonstop. He's an awesome guy. I mean, he's kicked the Irondog into high gear for representation in the class that we're going to. So he's a hard, dedicated worker, and it's great to be associated with him. So.
Well, I saw him with an energy.
So our main goals when it comes to finishing right now is to get this thing done. We want to get a clean race from the beginning to the end.
It just winds you too much.
Yeah.
But he's good people. I mean, these people that are online here are from Fairbanks, so they're going to know the Yukon area very good. So as I was explaining earlier in the broadcast, that each group that's coming in here from the different regions of Alaska brings a stronghold, and they know all the the shortcuts and weather conditions and where to get parts. And that's another thing too, is where do you get parts when you break? If you have an airplane that's following you, then he's got to be there at the checkpoint. If he's not there at the checkpoint, are you going to take a layover, or are you going to continue on if you can if it's a minor part? So there's a lot of strategies going on here once they leave this starting line. It's all not just hammer down and go. You got to start thinking, and things start happening that you got to take care of at the time.
Talking to these racers about when they start working on next year, they're like a lot of high-level athletes. I think we heard it from Mahomes, right after the Super Bowl. They don't waste much time, and even more so for a guy like Mike, who we talk about. Certainly this is a year-round project.
Oh, yes. I mean, a lot of these teams, they'll go ahead and go into motocross for the summer or riding wheelers and stuff to go ahead and keep in shape and keep fit. This team here, this is going to be interesting. I mean, one's from Nevada and one's from Wisconsin. So Nevada, I would say, gets some snow machining going up over by Lake Tahoe, but it's good to see that type of. I assume they know each other because they're from way across the states. I don't know what kind of training time they got, but that's a bridge I guess they're going to have to figure out.
Well, I hope they, at least from Wisconsin, they like my Green Bay hat, but I'm kind of afraid to be spotted by the Minnesota guys.
Oh, big time. The Minnesota guys. And Minnesota has, even though the manufacturers are there that make the snow machines, that Rozo is for Polaris, Skidoo somewhere around there, but it's they just didn't get the snow in Minnesota this year, so they're hurting on running around. It'll be interesting to see because you need at least 3,000 miles on your body and your machine to figure out what's going on and be in shape. Going to the gym, it doesn't work. You gotta be riding the snow machine to get the bumps and jumps and owls to make the machine and your body go in harmony.
Talking to a younger racer that I thought, about his training, just like you said, whether he was in the gym, he said, I just put on a lot of miles, so you can't, excel unless you get on the sled.
The gym only does so muscles, but you're hitting every bump. You're using every muscle, including your muscles in the back of your head. So it's just a never-ending motion that you're going until you come to a checkpoint, and then you're using your legs and lungs to start running and getting. Because these guys, when they come to a checkpoint, are not sitting there gradually doing it. If you can cut 1 minute off per checkpoint of time to the other teams, you're making time. So the checkpoints become like a NASCAR pit stop, but they're doing it. No one else can help them. They have to fill it. They have to oil it.
Not sure I can think of another sport which is as demanding and includes so much of your body.
Oh, it is. This is a constant motion going until you say clear, and then you take your layover. Then you start slowing down a little, but then you really don't slow down because now you've got to take your gear, put it someplace to get dried, then keep an eye on it, because if you go to sleep and you wake up and there's 20 other teams' gear in there, where did your gear go? And they got the same coat as you. Okay, is this the right coat? So it becomes that. Then you got to get feed, to go ahead and eat something, settle down, and you got about, on an 8-hour layover, you maybe sleep 4 hours, maybe. The rest of the time you're taking care of the Irondog, not just a puppy, it's an Irondog. So you got to make sure, hey, I got to tweak over here. We got to go ahead and tighten up tracks. Like the first place that they'll go ahead and do a mechanical, everybody would be McGrath. They'll do their chains on their chain cases. They'll adjust the tracks so that way they have the right tension and they don't go ahead and have problems down the trail. So you'll see everybody pull wrenches out at McGrath.
Kind of curious, you're driving from Anchorage to Fairbanks sometime. Sleeping can be a problem, unless you stop at the Three Bears Hotel. And
sleeping,
I wonder, just the noise helps you stay awake.
It does. I mean, you're out there going, actually get some catnips. I've actually kind of slept up on the coast in smooth areas, kind of doze off a little bit, but your next bump wakes you up. These guys aren't going to sleep until a couple days after the race is over. You just don't get any rest. You're always thinking, moving, worrying, and you're on that time schedule. I mean, everything's about, minutes, hours, days.
Team number 3 taking off and getting their way on the trail. And we're just, I guess one thing, Ken, is you train all year, you work all year, and then, the start takes a certain amount of time and the finish takes a certain amount of time, but there's a lot that happens in the middle. But really, you're putting in a lot of time for 8 days.
Yes, I mean it's a 24-hour race. Even though you are starting to take your layover stuff, the people in front of you, the checkpoints, the villages in front of you are getting ready. So there's people always moving in this race for 24 hours. There may be a lull time, is what we call it, where things quiet down just a little, but you really don't get any rest. Sleep is very prized by about Wednesday.
Well, grab something from the program. Maybe you can help us with it a little bit, and it's titled Trivia, and I don't think it's trivial at all. It's all the total wins garnered by these racers over the years.
Yep, and you don't see many, higher digits than one or twosies. One or twosies are, pretty good, but you see Chris Olds, he's got 4. Todd Palin's got 4. Dusty Van Meter, who's now retired, had 5. Dan Zapay retired, he's got 5. Nick Olstead, he has the chance, if he wins this year, he will tie John Feo and Scott Davis, who are tied for the most wins in the Irondog history. So there's another one. They could do a three-peat, which is only a very few teams have done. I believe it was Scott Davis and Mark Carr and John Feo and Dan Zapay. So Nick has a lot of history on this race, which I don't want to put a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but, he's a good kid. He's the right age, right mentality, right team. He's got a lot going for him. He just has to run the race.
2024 marks 40 years of Irondog racing, and to celebrate, the raffle is bigger than ever. Prizes include a brand new Jeep Gladiator Mojave, an enclosed trailer, a Polaris 850 Chaos Snowmachine, 4 round-trip tickets on Alaska Airlines, plus $10,000 cash. Win a mountain e-bike, climb gear, a Specialty Truck and Auto gift certificate, and Alpine Creek Lodging. Buy your tickets now. Purchase online at irondog.org or call 563-4414.
Growing up Alaskan makes you, a little different. We're an independent bunch, yet we can't get along without each other. We like unique things, and we have unique needs. That's the whole reason we created Club 49, the only travel benefits program made for Alaskans, so you can be you. Alaska Airlines Club 49.
There's nothing else like it. Carving your own trail, going where no one else has gone before. Best way to get there and back, jump in a new Jeep. At Alaska's Jeep headquarters on East 5th. President's Day sale events on with new Jeeps starting at just $30,212. Gladiators $9,000 off. Come get yours at Alaska's largest Anchorage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Official dealership sponsor of Alaska's Irondog, your hometown dealer since 1963.
Christopher Gertyson, CEO and Director of Nova Minerals with the Estelle Gold Project here, where we're located today. And the Estelle Gold Project is really something special. My background is as an economic geologist, that's mining and exploration and mineral economics, and I've worked for the last 30 years all around the world. So the Estelle Gold Project is a 450 square kilometer claim block situated on the Estelle Gold Trend. To date, along that trend, we have defined almost 10 million ounces, and that's only set to go up after the drilling operations this year. I grew up here. I'm from here. And so it's not just a job for me. 99% of the people that work here are Alaskans. 80% directly from the Mat-Su Valley. We're right in the middle of the high season here at Estelle, and what they're doing there in the background is we have 3 drills going 24/7 at the moment, and they're just constantly bringing new drill core down. That core right there, that's what we call pay dirt. We're into some pretty good stuff there at our RPM deposit, and they're just bringing it in. I'm very excited to see that, actually. So I'm looking forward to going up there and checking it out and see what the latest rocks look like.
Through a 10-year agreement between the Northwest Arctic Bureau and Teck Alaska, the Village Improvement Fund was created in 2018. After an initial payment of $12 million to the VIF, Red Dog contributes between $4 and $8 million annually, and that's based on overall profits from the mine.
People are very supportive of this program just because voices are being heard. It's very boots on the ground, figuring out what right now our needs are that aren't an emergency. It's long-term, big-scale projects and programs.
Well, a little bit of break here as we're waiting. It was interesting throughout that first part of the race. There was no delay in racers showing up, but this feels like a long time.
Now, this is the non-pros, so these guys have not a clue. I'm not being mean, but if you look at their machines, look at the baggage they have, look at the weight they have. What does weight do to a machine? Creates more stress, which creates more problems of getting stuck / braking, everything else. But you see all these bags on. I mean, I don't know what kind of gear they're taking, but they're taking the wrong gear if they got bags like that. You should just have your survival gear that's in there, a fuel tank that's extended so you can make it in between the longer checkpoints. You have your gear that's on you, and then maybe 1 or 2 more little pieces of articles you can add for layering if you run into a colder situation. But they have a lot to learn, and these guys are going also at a slower pace, but they're going to be taking the roughest trail that they're going to be taking all the way to McGrath, because the pros are going over it. Now they've got 4 and 5 foot crater holes, and I mean, I've used the word crater because they're straight up, straight down. When they get to McGrath, they're going to feel like they ran 3 Irondogs.
Well, as For people who are watching on AlaskaNewsSource.com, catching up with us on the stream, expedition. Can you kind of explain what that means?
The expedition class, basically, you can have 2 people or you can have a team of up to 10 people. They're out for the fun of it. Okay, this is an adventure. They're not racing, so to speak. They don't get a trophy at the end. They don't get cash prizes or anything. But they come out, they pay to go one way in the race. So they're going to go from here to Nome. Okay, run the regular race, and then at Nome, their machines are flown back. So they can go ahead. They have not layovers like layovers, but you sleep during the day. You want to sleep at night, run in the daylight, experience everything. Some people run we call the trail class, a better word. They run this to go ahead and kind of see what the Irondog is, retain their status as being rookie, because rookie, if you win as top rookie, doesn't mean you took first place, but you're top rookie finisher, then you get good cash prizes. So that's an incentive for a lot of people to see what the racers are. We've had out-of-state people come over here, run the trail class, kind of see what our style of racing is, what our setups are, how we take layovers and observe. And a lot of them, too, are just going out to have the fun, father-son, big group of buddies. But it's a very, very cool way to see Alaska on the ground, and all you have to worry about is lodging and food. Your gas and oil and everything's paid for.
Well, I guess, like you're saying, for some of them, it's just an adventure, and it might just be one time. And I got the sense in talking to some of them that this is something they wanted to work toward getting in the pro class. But either way, they seemed to be having a lot of fun.
Oh yes, it's I took after I retired in 2005. Tracy, my race partner, and his daughters. And I took, or his one daughter and my 2 daughters, I took on trail classes each one. And we got to show them that what their dads have been practicing doing since they've been babies. I've been running it for basically 14 years, and so Tracy ran it for 10 years. And it was so much of an awesome time, because then you can go through the villages, take your time, talk to the people that have helped you all these years, introduce them to your kids. The kids, you can't see Alaska for what we do, what Irondog charges to go ahead and do in the trail class. It is so cool, and you have a lot lower stress level and a lot easier pace because you can breathe. Before, it's time, in, out. And this one here, you can talk to people, like I say, and then, let's go check this mountain over, let's go check this over here, and deviate a little bit and have fun. It's a great adventure.
And then ambassadors, how would you describe that?
They're the ones that are some of our, they can be top sponsors. They can be names like Dee Dee John Rose. She's run the Iditarod forever. This is a different, venue for her. Now she gets to not worry about babysitting the dogs, which they got to be always watched, fed, cleaned. And now she just gets to go and turn the key off, go to the villages. She's got people all in there, ride around in her snow machine, a much faster pace than dogs, but yet it's a new adventure. Other people that sponsor us, Donlin Gold, I think it is, he's in there. He can see it from a marketing standpoint of, wow, this is one hell of a rough trail. These guys are no kidding. This is the world's toughest race. Also meet the people in the villages that that are close to them, and get some PR. It's a great way, because the villages are just happy to see any of us. Like I say, I can't stress that enough. That's the core of where we come from, is our villages out there, our checkpoints.
Okay, Ken, I just have one question. As our coverage of the pro race winds down, and you said you retired after 14 years. I wonder when the average age, I guess it changes a lot. When do people look like maybe they've had enough, or they're ready to hang around for a while?
It's not really the age. It's, I guess, the mentality, and if you are, you do get, the age does catch you because your muscles and everything. I mean, I still ride 15,000 miles. I freight and do a lot during the winter, so I ride 15,000 miles a winter, and I'm still in great shape doing the stuff. But Irondog is demanding. It's top condition on these things, because you go over 2,200 miles on a snow machine, not at a ride, at a race. So that means you're either wide open or you're sitting at the checkpoint.
That sounds like you don't need to go to a fitness club to get a workout. We're going to wrap things up right here. Our thanks to Ken Lee for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Our thanks to Nate James for the interviews along the way. Terry Verge is our executive producer and director. All the crew out here from Big Lake bringing it all to you, and it's not quite 20 degrees. We'll welcome these racers back in about 8 days as the Irondog continues on, and what a treat to bring it all to you. And Ken and I will say a very pleasant good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you.